Hello, this is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener. Let's talk about Keystone versus CMU block walls. What are the advantages, disadvantages, and costs? So basically, when it comes to building walls, you do it because you want to, build a retaining wall, build a flower bed. It's just kind of create more flat space in your front yard or backyard for creating a really cool landscape. So basically, there's two different kinds of wall unit systems. This one's a CMU block, also known as concrete masonry unit. That's what CMU stands for. And this is a Keystone. Now, what is the difference between the two? It's kind of basically how they're put together. And I'll show you video segments on both of that as we go through this video. So it really depends on aesthetics and cost as far as what you want to do. So let's talk about Keystone first. A Keystone wall unit is basically pieces of block that are held together either with pegs or they're gravity stack, and they have a little stone lip in the back that holds them together, but they're not mortared together. Now, in this case, you see he's actually putting an epoxy in to really make it stable, but basically they're good for 3 up to about 6 feet for residential uses. They can be used for even taller ones, but those require special engineering. The nice thing about Keystone is you get some really cool looks. This is more of an old-fashioned. This is a country manor Keystone, kind of a rough old world kind of look, really kind of neat. Comes in a couple different colors. And by the way, there are links in the video description for more information on all of these products. The nice thing about Keystone is that you do have that kind of rough texture to it. This is a same concept, but by Belgard. Now, a little bit pricier. Now, how much do these cost? So a Keystone wall is going to run anywhere from $50 to $80 a square foot. What do I mean by square foot? Say you have a 50-foot long wall that's 2 feet tall. That's 100 square feet. So again, $50 to $70, $80. That's what you're looking at. So Belgard is definitely in the higher end range. Here's the before and afters of this one. But by putting these wall up, we created a really nice terracing for this particular property. Now here's another one. This is a front yard where we're terracing it just to create some flat space. This is actually a newer one called Stonegate Contemporary, a much cleaner, more modern look. This is a new product that just came out in the last couple years. Really kind of, again, also comes in a few different colors as well. And again, the great thing about this is that it gives a nice clean look, especially when you put this wonderful wall cap on. This, and again, with contemporary walls, you want to have a nice clean cap. Now, this one actually is called Antique Black, but it's really just kind of has a nice complementary feel to this look. So that's, again, this is Stonegate Contemporary, a really nice Keystone wall. It is a Keystone wall. They're just pegged together, and it got a nice Keystone look. Again, Keystone's going to cost anywhere from $50 to $80 a square foot to build a wall. Best to use them when they're 3 to 6 feet. Anything above 6 feet, at least by California code, you have to get it engineered. So now let's move on and talk about CMU block. Again, concrete masonry block. A CMU block wall, just a plain block wall, is going to be closer to about $40 a square foot. Now, the most common use, however, is people will stucco coat it. So here on this particular project, we did a very curvy wall, which was perfect for concrete masonry because you can cut the CMU blocks much easier than you can cut a Keystone block. So when you start adding the stucco coat to it, then it's getting closer to that $50 to $60 and can be even pricier. But again, the advantage of CMU block is you can really curve it like we did with this particular project. So here we put a stucco coat and a nice wall cap, and we even throw a couple lights under the lips of that, so it really lights up at night really nicely. Here's another example of a CMU block wall. Now, this particular one, we did the CMU block and then we put a brick facade on it. Here's the big advantage to a CMU block wall. You can do all kinds of really great facades. And again, the great thing about walls in general is it creates flat usable space for roses or patios or pathways. That's kind of why it's great to do it. Here's a simple CMU block wall, simple stucco coat, rolled cap, this is going to be closer to that $50 a square foot. There's another particular project, very curvy. And again, the great thing about CMU block is it's really easy to cut to those certain specifications, and some fun stucco colors there as well. Here's that curvy patio again, just wonderful. So a CMU block wall again is going to be about $40 to $50 a square foot if it just has a stucco coat. When you add the facades, that's when you start adding some big budget. Oh, and there's the lighting for that particular one. When you add the facades, that's when it can really get pricey. Adding facade to a CMU block wall is going to add $10 to $30 a square foot, depending on how elaborate the facade is. So, then you can get up to the $90 a square foot for some of these fancier ones that you're about to see towards the end of this video with a really fancy facade. But again, if you're trying to create a patio space, like there we did with that yard where we had to create a patio space by just carving it into the hill, then these are really great products. So again, CMU versus Keystone depends on your budget, depends on what you're trying to accomplish visually. Well, that's all the time we have for today. This is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener, saying if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get more of my garden videos. Until next time, this is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener, saying thanks for watching.